Hey, what's going on? This is Raven's Arcana. I am Raven. Today I'm going to be speaking about how I create my daily sigil based on a morning tarot reading for myself. We're just going to jump right in here. I'm going to use a whiteboard with the sigil I've already created, go into a little bit about how that happened and why it matters to me. And make sure we're in there. There we go. So I call my sigil the deconstructed philosopher's stone. It starts with a square, which for me is going to represent earth, water, air, and fire, or the physical self, the emotional self, the intellectual self, and the spiritual self. It also for me represents the quadrivium, which if you are unfamiliar, is arithmetic, geometry, music, and astrology, or number in its purest form, number in space, number in time, and number in both space and time. Then we're going to have the triangle on the outside of that, which is going to represent for me body, spirit, and soul, or the three major forms of alchemical transformation, nigredo, albedo, rubedo, or the trivium, which once again, if you're unfamiliar, is grammar, logic, and rhetoric, or translated to knowledge, understanding, and wisdom. And then the circles on the corners of the triangle represent self, mainly cycles, wholeness, oneness, and timelessness. Now I'm going to start with the square, and I have the square, and inside the square represent the day. So the day of the week happens to be Saturday. Saturn is going to represent Saturday. So I'm going to put the sign for Saturn in the square like so. And then next I'm going to move to the circles on the corners of the triangle. That is going to represent morning, noon, and night from a basic 3-card pool. It can also be, beginning, middle, and end. And that can relate to your whole day, just your work day, or any kind of event. And I've already pulled 3 cards just to make it easier to explain this. I'm using the black and white tarot deck. And here was my 3-card pull for the morning, noon, and night for the beginning, middle, and end. And as you can see, we have the Hermit, the Lovers, and the Moon. So in those outside circles, we're going to start off with the Hermit, which is going to be Virgo. Continue with the Lovers, which is going to be Gemini. And we're going to end the 3-card pool with the Moon, which is going to be represented by Pisces. Please forgive my disproportionate sigil, as well as my lack of artistic writing. All right, next I usually pull clarifying cards for the 3 cards in the initial morning, noon, and night, or beginning, middle, and end. Once again, these are pre-pulled. Also using the black and white tarot deck. These cards are going to be, if I can move my fat fingers, Strength, the Magician, and the High Priestess. So we're going to place the meanings for these cards, or the symbols for these cards, on the inside of the triangle that's going to correspond to the first 3 cards I pulled. And these are the clarifying cards. So we had Strength, which is going to be represented by Leo. We're going to have the Magician, which is represented by Mercury. And then we are going to have the High Priestess, which is represented by the Moon. Boom. And that is basically how I create my sigil. And I will use this as a guiding tool to be wary of events that are happening, to know when to take action, or be forced to not take action, inaction. And I will say one thing, that you are going to have to charge your symbol. So while you're working on your symbols, while you're figuring out what works best for you, as far as shapes, lines, it's important to know that once you find your finished product, you're going to have to essentially activate it. And, that's called charging. You can charge sigils through meditation. There's other ways, rituals, you can do that. There's plenty of knowledge online that you can find for that. But I just wanted to give you a little bit of insight in how my sigils are created, what they mean to me, and obviously there's no right or wrong way to create the sigil, and just create them where it works best for you. Thank you so much for your time, as always, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day.